Hey Green Thumb friends, I know it's late in the day, it's about sunset, but I want to kind of get ahead of this job that I'll have to do tomorrow, which is to transplant my Lady Banks Rambler rose on the east side over by the carport garden. So what I'm doing right now is tracing out where the plant bed will be. I'm using a drip tube because it's most flexible, and I'll go ahead and go in with the half moon edger. Today, I'm going to be preparing this planting bed underneath this pergola, and it will be roughly 2 feet wide, probably a little bit more than 2 feet wide. So I'm going to go ahead, and I already started yesterday evening, so today I'm just going to simply be widening it. I'm using this half moon edger right here. The other tools I plan on using are some metal edging material with some stakes. I'm also going to use a rubber mallet to pound the stakes in. So let's get started. So I intend for her to, after being planted right there, to be draped back and then up and around the pergola post. And then eventually, with the aid of some supports that I intend on putting in today, she'll climb all the way up and over the pergola. And that should be about a good 10 feet, probably in the next year or so, and consequent years, another 10 feet over to the deck. So that's roughly what, almost 20 feet. And all the smaller brambles will be draped around the deck. So that'll be very pretty. So for this hole, like I said, I'm gonna put a lot of nutrients in there to get this Lady Banks off to the right start, because you know, they may go through transplant shock. She's been there for the past 2 seasons. So it's a generous amount of iron tone and stinky biotone fertilizer. Always important to know the conditions of your garden. In this case, this area gets a lot of water when it rains very heavily. So I'm going to add some grit. My grit mixture is sand, paper sand, and coarse gravel. Fine. All right, family. So we're about to go ahead and remove Lady Banks right now. I've removed all the obstructions out of the way, well, for the most, and about to go ahead and kind of dislodge her from this trellis that I got her on, which is so flimsy, it's ridiculous, and wrap her up, dig her out, and tote her back to the pergola in that gorilla cart right there. So, when you're removing a climbing rose or any vining structure from a trellis or an arbor and such, of course you want to go ahead and keep as much of the plant intact. So what I'm doing is following one of the main canes, which is this one right here. Okay, it's coming up this way, and this is where it hits the trellis. So there's no way for me to pull that out. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and chop her off right there. I'm gonna have to go ahead and chop her off right here because there's no way for me to safely pull her out without damaging her, unfortunately. Or maybe I can go a step further and chop her off further down the line and then lift the trellis up, and the ones that are skinnier than a pencil, the branches that are skinnier than a pencil, they may get damaged. So I think I'll go with the latter, and we'll just see what happens. So with climbing roses, you got main stems, okay, that come from the crown of the plant. And then you have canes that come from the main stems, okay? So this right here is the main stem, and I'd like to keep it intact as much as possible. So we'll sacrifice all the little spindly canes that are attached to it. So that what produce you must save. Okay? That's one of AJ-isms of today. That produce you must save. If it's productive, you save it. If it's not as productive, you go ahead and cut it out. It can be sacrificed. There's a main cane that's going over by the brick wall. We're definitely going to save that. So let's just go ahead and do some heavy editing on this. Y'all not going to see me here wrestling with this rose. Okay. I'm going to do some editing wizardry on this. Y'all not about to have me fussing with this rose on camera. Let's save this one over here. Without breaking her. Lady Banks is a very flexible woman. I must say. Her canes are flexible. So we got some play here. Let me cut that off. All right. All right. I think we're there, guys. The good thing to note about Lady Banks is she doesn't have thorns. So you guys are probably wondering, Why is this crazy dude fighting this rose like this? Don't it have thorns? No. She has a lot of canes, though, I tell you that. She will put up a fight, a good fight. She ain't got thorns. I told you she put up a fight. She just knocked my camera over. All right, Lady Banks, you did not win this fight. Okie dokie. We are here. Lady Banks has been tipped. She's been planted at an angle. And this is on purpose so that the main canes can move aft or backwards. And then I'll go ahead and start wrapping her around the post column for this pergola. I used the bucket with the perforated holes to water so that in this way the water disperses in all different directions one time. All right, so right here I'm putting in some supports for Lady Banks. She will first come up to this first support structure right here, get tied off there, and then 18 inches. Every 18 inches, I'll go ahead and put another support. And so I will alternate the part that sticks out. So it'll be alternated. Like this side right here sticks out, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. Then 18 inches up, I'll make this side stick out and go ahead and cut that, and so on and so forth, all the way up until I get to the top.